There are moments in life when we hear the voice of God, but fear whispers louder. Moments when obedience seems like a storm and running feels like peace, until we realize we can never outrun grace. Welcome to Faith Alive, where timeless Bible stories meet real, raw moments of life, faith, failure, and divine mercy. This is the story of Jonah, a prophet not of mighty faith, but of great resistance. A man who ran not because he didn't hear God, but because he did. In this 5-part journey, we're not just telling a story, you're stepping into the depths of God's relentless pursuit, His power to use broken vessels, and His mercy that reaches even our darkest decisions. So whether you're on the run in a storm or swallowed by life's chaos, Jonah's journey might just reflect your own. Stay with us through this powerful series. Like the video, share with someone who needs it, drop a comment on what stood out to you, and hit subscribe to keep your faith alive, because your story isn't over either. Let's begin. Long ago, in a time when nations rose and fell at the word of kings, there was a man who heard the voice of the king above all kings, God himself. His name was Jonah, and he was about to receive a mission that would shake his faith to the core. God spoke clearly. Jonah, go to the great city of Nineveh. Speak out against their wickedness. Their sins have come up before me. But Jonah didn't like what he heard. Nineveh? The enemy? A brutal, godless nation? No, he couldn't do it. He wouldn't. Instead of heading to Nineveh, Jonah made a run for it, straight to a ship sailing in the opposite direction. He was determined to escape God's plan. Have you ever tried to run from what God is asking of you? Maybe it's too uncomfortable, too risky, too painful. Jonah gets it. He ran not because he didn't believe in God, but because he didn't like what God wanted him to do. But what happens when you run from the one who controls the sea, the sky, and the very breath in your lungs? Stay with us because in part 2 the sea will roar, the winds will rise, and Jonah's escape plan will be met by a storm like no other. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment below. What would you have done if you were in Jonah's sandals? We want to hear from you. Jonah thought he could outrun God, but no one escapes the call of the Almighty. As the ship to Tarshish sailed farther from Jonah's purpose, the heavens began to stir. The Lord hurled a mighty storm upon the sea. Waves slammed against the ship like fists from the deep. Winds howled. The vessel creaked and groaned as if it would break apart. The crew panicked. These were seasoned men used to storms, but this was no ordinary weather. This storm had a name, and it was Jonah. The sailors cried out to their gods. Nothing changed. Desperate, they cast lots to find out who had brought this disaster upon them, and the lot fell on Jonah. They found him below deck, fast asleep. How can you sleep? Get up. Call on your God. Maybe he'll take notice of us. I am a Hebrew. I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. It is because of me that this storm has come. Imagine the silence that followed. The storm outside was raging, but in that moment, inside that ship, it was Jonah's truth that thundered loudest. What should we do to make the sea calm down for us? Throw me into the sea, and it will become calm. Even in rebellion, Jonah knew the power of surrender. But the sailors, fearing God, tried to row back to land, and failed. They cried out to the Lord, not their gods this time. Please don't hold us accountable for this man's life. And then, they threw Jonah into the sea. The sea grew still. The storm obeyed. And the sailors? They worshipped the Lord in awe. But as Jonah sank into the deep, God was not done with Jonah yet. A great fish, prepared by God, was already on its way. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Like, share, and comment below. What part of Jonah's storm do you relate to the most? Jonah was drowning, physically, spiritually, emotionally. The storm had passed, but the real battle was just beginning. And in his lowest moment, God showed up, in a most unusual way. God had prepared a great fish, not to destroy Jonah, but to preserve him. In the belly of that fish, Jonah had no light, no direction, no escape. But he did have something: time. Time to think. Time to pray. In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead, I cried for help, and you listened to my cry. Jonah poured his heart out. From the depths of the sea, he remembered the God he had tried to flee. He spoke of being surrounded by waters, of sinking down to the roots of the mountains, and yet hope returned. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord. My prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Jonah found clarity in the chaos. He realized salvation wasn't in running or resisting, it was in surrender. He made a vow. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord. And the moment Jonah turned his heart back to God, the fish turned too. Grace carried Jonah from the depths of the sea to a fresh start. Bruised, humbled, and reborn, he stood once more on dry land, with a mission still waiting. Have you ever felt trapped in darkness with nowhere to turn? Remember Jonah. God hears even from the depths. Drop a comment. Have you ever prayed your way out of a dark place? Jonah walked toward Nineveh with a new heart, no longer running but ready. God's compass pointed him straight to the city gates. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. It wasn't a fancy speech, just one warning, one chance. And in that moment, something miraculous happened. From the greatest to the least, they believed God's message. They put on sackcloth, sat in ashes, and cried out for mercy. Who knows? God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger, so that we will not perish. Their humility and faith moved God's heart. He saw their repentance and turned away his judgment. God's second chance saved a city of thousands, proof that no one is beyond the reach of his mercy. But how do you respond when God offers you a fresh start? Do you humble yourself, turn away from old ways, and embrace his grace? If you're inspired like this video, comment below. What does God's mercy mean to you? Don't forget to subscribe. Your journey with faith alive continues next time. Jonah expected to see flames of judgment, but instead he saw a city at peace, saved by God's mercy. Yet in his heart, anger burned hotter than any storm. Lord, didn't I tell you this would happen? That's why I fled, to avoid this mercy. I'll spare them? No, I want justice. Jonah's anger revealed a struggle we all face, when God's compassion outruns our expectations. So God gave Jonah a lesson. He caused a leafy plant to grow, giving Jonah shade and comfort. Jonah rejoiced in the vine's relief, but at dawn, God sent a worm to wither it. I'm dying of grief over this plant. And God said, Jonah, you pity a plant you did not tend or make. Should I not have compassion on Nineveh, over 120,000 people and many animals, whose destiny lies in my hands? God's heart is wide enough for every sinner, every second chance. Mercy isn't fair, it's grace. Thanks for joining our Jonah series on Faith Alive. If Jonah's journey spoke to you, like this video, comment, how has God's mercy surprised you? Share to spread hope. Subscribe for more life-changing Bible stories. Remember, no matter how far you run, his mercy finds you, and every new day brings an open door. Jonah's journey, from running away to diving into darkness, to standing at Nineveh's gates, teaches us that God's call is inescapable, his mercy is boundless, and his lessons often come through trials. We've seen how obedience moves mountains and calms storms. Prayer brings us back when we're lost. Repentance opens doors to second chances. Mercy transforms hearts, ours and others. No matter where you are today, on the run, in your own storm, or resting in mercy, remember that God pursues you, equips you, and invites you to join his story of redemption. Thank you for watching.